Peter from Major Cookies here, and I'm talking to Scott with Space Vacation. How are you doing today, Scott?
Hey, pretty good, Peter. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So the first thing I got to mention is that I'm friends with your brother, Mark. How is it with him? Have you ever done any music with him before, or how's your relationship with Mark?
Yeah, he was he was actually on the last record. He was in the band for about a year and a half. We did some small tours, and at the end of the day, he just wanted to get out of California. So we had to call it a day. But it was rad having him in the band. Originally, the band was formed between myself and my other brother, Jay, so it was kind of a family affair for a long time. And then when Mark joined the band, it was just like kind of picking up where it had left off. And, you know, he's a great bass player, so it was good to have that kind of musicality in the band and just kind of a different take. And plus, you know, I've known him his whole life, so
of course,
easy to get along with him. I know what he's going to be like in the van on tour, so.
That's good. What's the origin of your band name, Space Vacation? Where's that come from? How did you come up with that name?
There's a guy in San Francisco. He's kind of eccentric. His name's Frank Chu, and he walks around the city with this big sign saying that the legions from the 12 galaxies are going to take over the world, and we have to be prepared. And he's actually named a few venues in the city. In fact, he named one venue, the 12 Galaxies, which is around for quite a while. He's a bit eccentric, and if you're a San Francisco native or local and you've been here a while, you've definitely seen him downtown. So, you know, when the band first started, there were three of us, and we just couldn't come up with a name at all. We're like, what the hell are we going to call this band? Like heavy metal band, we like lasers and smoke. Like, what the hell are we going to call ourselves? And this went on for months, and finally we were in the studio, we were cutting a demo, and we had to try to figure something out. So we actually went and asked Frank, like, what should we name our band? We're into, like, outer space and lasers and heavy metal, and we like to party. And he's like, you should call your band Space Vacation. And we're like, all right, done. That's it.
That's funny. Is he like a homeless guy? Because I've been to San Francisco once, and as soon as
I don't know if he's quite homeless, but he's definitely very eccentric.
Yeah.
If he's not homeless, he's probably borderline homeless. But I think he's an interesting guy nonetheless.
Yeah.
To me, the band name, like going on a space vacation, is when you're supposed to be at work or, you know, at school or doing something important, and your mind kind of wanders, and you just kind of like have that blank stare in your face because you're thinking about something awesome that you want to do, but you're not actually doing. So that to me is what a space vacation is.
That makes sense. You think I first thought of it as space vacation, it's like taking a rocket,
and you can learn more about
Mars or something.
You can learn more about the band name by checking out our first record, and the song "Space Vacation" is all about that.
Yeah, I'll have to check out the first record. I really like the new album quite a bit. It catches me right away. It's not like an album that, you know, you have to listen to a bunch of times before you actually get it. It's like boom, I got it. I love it. So
nice. I'm glad you dig it.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
thank you.
What are the other band members currently? How did you
right
come
now
across
we're playing
them?
with Keo Morgan on guitar. Keo used to play with Vicious Rumors for a number of years. He was on the Razorball Killer record. On bass, we've got Steve Hayes. Mm-hmm. And on drums, we've got a guy named Eli Lucas who used to play with Hatchet.
Cool.
On the record, we had a guy, Warren Ryan, who played with us on the record. But he was more of a session guy for us and just really helped us get it across the finish line. And then we were lucky enough that Eli became available and decided to come out of musical retirement and rejoin the band. He actually played with us for about a year or so after our original drummer left.
Oh, that's nice. I know drummers are hard to find. At least down here they are.
Yeah.
Drummers playing.
It's always a challenge to find someone who can. And if you're lucky enough to find a drummer, he's in like 20 other bands.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Drummers are in like 4 or 5 bands at the same time. How do they do it? Do you ever?
Yeah, exactly. Different breed, those guys. So we were very fortunate in how things ended up working out.
The genre of music, what do you consider your genre to be, or if you even go by labels, and where are your influences?
Yeah, I mean, we're just straight up heavy metal. You know, heavy metal for fans of heavy metal. You know, we like all the ridiculous cliche things that you see about heavy metal, you know, being big and bombastic and putting on stage shows and smoke and lasers and, you know, powerful choruses, shredding guitars, you know, double bass kind of like all the things that make heavy metal awesome to fans of heavy metal. So, a little bit of Motorhead, a little bit of Iron Maiden, and a little bit, from the UFO / Thin Lizzy side of things, melodically. So we like to blend like heavy with melody. So I think the original take of the band is like sexy metal, but not like cheesy.
You mentioned those bands. Who else are you influenced by?
Well, me personally, I probably picked up the guitar for the first time because of Van Halen. Just straight up American hard rock.
Yeah.
Brutal. But definitely Iron Maiden, Judas Priest is a huge influence. Manowar, just because they're awesome.
Yep.
Thin Lizzy, Motorhead for sure. Like, I think everything we do probably stems from Motorhead, and probably like Diamond Head is probably kind of like the crux of what we do. And a little bit of like very early Def Leppard, because we do a lot of harmonized vocals.
And what band or artist do you like that you're embarrassed to say that you actually like? If you ever get a song stuck in your head, it's like, oh, hey, I actually like that band.
Good question. I'm not sure. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I always get songs stuck in my head. Like this morning, I had a Billy Joel song stuck in my head. What the hell?
Probably Elton John, actually, now that you mentioned piano stuff. Just because he's just so good with melody.
He has some cool tunes. Of course, his earlier stuff, not his later stuff. Well,
yeah. I don't think I could stomach listening to Candle in the Wind.
When did you form your band, and what inspired you to get together and make music?
Well, I've always played music and been in and out of bands since I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
But this particular band, I was actually finishing up studying in law school. My brother, Jay, had just moved out to San Francisco, and he was giving me the hard sell. He's like, you got to come back to San Francisco. You got to come back to San Francisco. At the time, I was out in, the Mountain West region, thinking to myself, well, do I really want to deal with the cost of having to deal with San Francisco again?
Mm-hmm.
I'd lived here previously. He's like, I'll tell you what, you can come live with me, and we'll start a band, and you can study for the bar and live with me for free until you deal with that. I was like, sold. So I came back, and I wasn't even here a week before we started playing with Andy for the first time, and it just really, everything clicked. And a couple of the songs that I had been writing over the course of the last couple of years just went right into the set right away. And we just really hit the ground running. Like, things just really worked right from the very first time we played. And from there, we just started recording some music, playing shows, and been doing it ever since 2007.
Nice. What kind of guitars do you play? You mostly play the rhythm guitars, and Q plays the leads.
Yeah. I do a little bit of lead stuff. I definitely do the harmony twin stuff with Keo, but he's a monster guitar player, and if you're in the audience watching us play, you want him to be playing the solos, not me. He's just significantly better player than I am. So I hold down the rhythms, and Keo and I share the majority of the songwriting, or at least the initial songwriting ideas.
And do you find it hard to play and sing at the same time? No, I do. It's kind of it can be tricky, like how that all works.
I hate it.
Yeah,
can't stand it. No, it actually helped shape the way the band sounds. Like, frankly, we started out, and we were really limited by that because I was the only guitar player when we first started.
Yeah. And
so it kind of like, well, I can't play the song like this. I have to play it slightly different, and it really kind of shaped the sound. And if you listen, especially to the earlier records, like, everything is very much rhythm driven, bass driven, drums driven, and the guitar just kind of plays the chords on top while I'm singing until it gets to a part where things speed up, or we change to like more of a riff oriented type of piece.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually think it's been good. I think if I was like a much better player and I could sing and play really well at the same time, we'd probably have a sound that was a lot different than what we have now. And I kind of dig what we're doing.
Yeah, I can't see how some people do it. Somebody like Geddy Lee playing what he does in the bass and sing at the same time.
Oh yeah,
how in the hell does he do that?
or Ex Mortis. Have you seen Ex Mortis play?
No, I haven't. I've heard. I know them a little bit, but I haven't.
Yeah, the thing I call them swing vague because they're like part Slayer, part Yngwie. But the lead guitar player is also the singer, and he just crushes. I've never seen anything like what he does. You definitely want to check them out.
I don't know how they do it. And even worse, doesn't happen that often, but how do drummers sing at the same time and play drums? I don't know.
Oh, I know. Well, Eli is singing backups for us right now, so I guess we could ask him.
Do you play any specific brand of guitar, or
Yeah,
you favor one over the other?
We play Gibsons pretty much exclusively. Keo was a Gibson artist for a long time and got me on that for a bit. I don't know what our status is at this point, but we play pretty much all Gibson. Originally, I used to play Fender Strat with a humbucker in the bridge position. But I just found as soon as I plugged in the Gibson into a Marshall, like that's the sound I've been looking for forever, and haven't looked back.
Where have you performed, and what are your favorite and least favorite venues out there, or anywhere? Where have you played?
The least favorite venue was the one we were on tour down in LA, and honestly I can't even remember the name of the venue, but we got all the way there, and the owner or the manager of the establishment was like, "Yeah, you can play here, but we're not going to pay you." I was like, "What do you mean? This has been on the books for like 3 months. It's part of this tour." And he was too late to reschedule or find anything else because we had just driven it to town. And so he didn't pay us. He collected $10 from everybody who came in. Didn't give us a dime.
Wow, that's horrible.
So that was the worst. That was the worst gig ever. So we ended up selling beers in the parking lot just to get enough gas to make it to the next show in San Diego.
That's terrible. The
best would probably be a tie. The Whiskey A Go-Go was super rad. Just because of the history of it. Every corner I looked at, I was like, oh, I bet David Lee Roth banged a girl in that corner. So that was pretty funny. Slim's in San Francisco was great. The Cake Shop in New York was awesome. I loved playing there. I love playing we're playing the Parkside tonight in San Francisco, and that's actually one of my favorite venues as well.
Yeah. San Francisco seems like a pretty good music scene. Not just for metal, but everything in general. There seems to be like places to play all over the place there.
Well, it's a bit of a challenge. A lot of the venues are going out of business and closing or won't support heavy music.
Oh, really?
But there's still a few left, and one Cafe du Nord just reopened, so we'll see how that plays out. There's enough. You just have to be diligent. But there's also a lot of competition. There's a ton of bands here.
Yeah.
A ton of bands are looking for shows. So it's kind of, it's like any other big city where it's like, yeah, there's opportunity, but it's a bit challenging to find a good spot, because, I'm at the point now where I'm not super hyped about playing, a Sunday night gig going on stage at midnight because no one's going to be there.
Yeah.
So we try to avoid those at this point. But if it's a great show, Sunday night opening for Maiden, I'll be there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But there's a lot of rad bands there. Like, we're playing with a band Hellfire tonight. Awesome up and coming band that you should be hearing about pretty soon. There's a record release show tonight. And Blakk is another up and comer that is some pretty rad traditional heavy metal bands. There's also a ton more in that stoner metal type sound. Sleep and High on Fire. In fact, when we were recording this record, we were recording it in the studio right next to Sleep, so I would just walk in and see Matt Pike sitting in the break room drinking tea with his giant backpack full of what looked like everything he owned. Super nice guy though.
They're a cool band. They seem to be good guys, and always make jokes about them. Like if you went to the recording studio with them, it would just like be nothing but a cloud of pot smoke in there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was like. Although it's funny because I was recording vocals on the day that they were tracking. And so they kept on having to close off all the doors in the hallway of the studio because my high-pitched vocals kept leaking into their room. So on the next Sleep record, if you happen to hear this faint high-pitched scream in the background, it's me.
That's funny. You're with Pure Steel Records. How did that come across? How did you find that?
When we finished our second record, Heart Attack, I just printed up some CDs and sent out mailers and kind of like a bio and release to every single heavy metal label that I could find, pretty much in the world.
Oh, that's good.
And Pure Steel got back to us, and it's been pretty good relationship. They're based out of Germany. They're kind of an underground metal label.
Yeah.
But we've actually got some pretty good visibility in Europe if we can ever tour there. So the goal is this year to tour, do some European dates to support this new release.
That's nice. Do you ever make it down to the south? I'm in Florida. I don't know. If you ever make it down to my area?
I wish. I wish. Yeah, we usually do West Coast and Northeast. We haven't been down that direction yet, but certainly not ruling it out.
Yeah.
Especially in the wintertime when it's cold and shitty everywhere else, it'd be super nice to be down in Florida.
Definitely don't come here now. It's too hot, way too hot.
Oh yeah, I bet. I'll definitely steer clear for now.
What songs do you perform most frequently, and do you ever do any cover songs? Do you have a set playlist when you do shows?
Right now we're kind of feeling it out. We just did our first show with this new lineup and with the new material a few weeks ago up in Sacramento, and now we've got actually a shorter set we have to play tonight. But I think what we want to do is play mostly new stuff, and then we typically close the show with Keith's Sister from our first record. That was kind of our most well-known song. But we try to keep stuff fresh and not do the same thing all the time. Previously we had played the material from Cosmic Vanguard for like the last 3 years, pretty much consistently without too much variation. So it's nice to be able to change that up and have some freedom to play some new stuff and feel like we're moving forward and doing something a little different, rather than just playing the same set over and over and over and over again, which can get a little bit boring, gets a little bit rough and repetitive. Yeah, and I'm sure it does for the audience too. And
do you ever do any covers when you play gigs or stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
We've done a couple of covers over the years. We had a really good cover of Dr. Doctor that we actually put on the LP. Cosmic Vanguard, and then we used to play let me see, I'm trying to think back. I think we used to play a Maiden cover, but I can't remember which one now. A long time ago.
As long as
but not much. We typically only do our own stuff, although we're certainly not against throwing a cover in just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun.
But again, it's more of just kind of like, well, we really want to take time to learn it.
Yeah, it's not like
it comes down to.
I like bands that do covers, but more obscure ones. Like if I go see a band and they do Ender Sandman, it's like, oh jeez, something like that. That would be.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
no kidding.
Terrible. But all right.
Or anything by AC/DC.
That'll be a break for your drummer. There's the old joke where
no kidding.
The same drum track on all the albums all the way through.
We were talking about playing Heavy Metal Mania by Holocaust, but I don't know if we're actually going to do it.
Yeah.
We're kind of just batting around some ideas now because it's always nice to have, if people really want to hear one more song, and it's good to whip a cover out and just do something fun.
Yeah.
But right now we're still focused on getting the new material really tight.
Yeah.
Live.
Who writes your songs, and what are the main themes or topics of most of your songs?
Yeah. Well, typically Q and I do the lion's share of the writing, but really it's like we kind of incorporate everyone's ideas who's in the band. And even on this new record, we've started playing some of the songs with the old drummer. So, I don't think I would have been writing things the way that I was if I wasn't thinking about how he played. So really it's kind of like an amalgamation of who's ever in the band at the time. But I think the basis of the ideas usually stem from Q and I.
And it's good that you all when you do your rehearsal, you practice. You do a practice every week, or they just learn together.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you want to get together? And
Yeah, we play together regularly. Otherwise, I don't know. Like honestly, just playing music at this point in life is like enjoyable. So I love going to practice. I enjoy it. I like getting better. I like playing around with the set and then figuring out, what's the best way to transition between these songs. Should we turn the lasers on here? So just like really getting the stage show up to snuff and where I think it needs to be. How do you work the stage show? Does it you just I'm totally don't know anything about it. Do you program it in? You just have to play along with it, or you have like a little foot pedal that switches things or something? I don't know. Yeah, we're still working through the details. Right now we've got a laser that's basically syncs to the music. We've got some lights, fog machine, basic stuff. For a while we were working on some background video, but not a lot of the venues we play at have like a screen that we can use or have the right lighting or be able to set something like that up. So it's not necessarily something we're super focused on, but definitely smoke and lasers all the time. Lots of headbang, lots of hair. How has your music evolved since you first started playing music together? Did your style change much over the years, or was it all basically the same style? Yeah, I think it definitely changed a bit once Keo joined the band. Just having someone with that skill set on guitar really changed, how I perceive what we can and can't do musically. You know, and it was just me playing guitar. You know, I'm a decent player, but I've got some limitations on what I can do.
Yeah.
And having him come in who can really just play anything, really upped the game of the whole band. And plus, we've had a lot of turnover in musicians that we've played with. And that adds to it as well, because we want people to play things the way that they want to play it, right? I mean, if you come in and we're writing a song, like I don't want to tell Steve what to play on bass. I want him to be super comfortable with what he's doing and say, you know, this is how I want to play this song. This is how we're going to record it because this is what I want to play. You know, same with drums and everything else. So I think it's evolved as the people have evolved. So I think, you know, to your question, originally everything was very bass driven. We had a lot of a ton of drum fills pretty much all over everything. Andy was one of the craziest players I've ever seen. It was like Keith Moon all over the map, but in a good way, like huge high energy. And that drove a lot of the sound. And so it certainly has evolved since then. When Cubby joined the band, we were definitely more double bass oriented and straightforward driving, hard hitting style. And so, and now it's evolved even a little bit more from that, where it's maybe not so hard hitting, a little bit more dynamic than we've been previously.
Yeah.
So, and also too, I think it depends on, you know, kind of the vibe of what I'm feeling songwriting wise too. You know, this album is a bit more personal to me than some of the past records. A lot had happened since we recorded Cosmic Vanguard. My mom died, so there's an overarching theme of death throughout pretty much every song on the record, except for Through the Door, which is about a threesome. So it's a bit more of a personal record, a bit more dynamic. And instead of just straightforward, like a punch in the face, the whole record, it's a little bit more nuanced.
Finding the right band members, it's kind of like trying to find a girlfriend or a wife. You have to go through some crazy people.
You gotta have four of them at the same time.
you got to go through some crazy people, some crappy people, some people who think they're Yngwie and they're not.
We've been really lucky. We've been really lucky on that front. I think the hardest part was when we were, you know, the first 5 years of the band, when it was the three-piece, we were always looking for that, like, guitar player who gets it and can play. And sometimes we'd try out a bunch of people. Some people were awesome guitar players, but it wasn't quite the right fit for us, or we weren't quite the right fit for them. And then one day we get this email. You know, we put an ad up on Craigslist. We get this email back. He's like, yeah, I kind of like what you guys are doing. Here's a video of me playing. And it's Keo, but he's on the stage in front of about 30,000 people. And it's like, power move, shred, headbang. Then
wow.
He came out and he was as advertised. And I kept thinking, why are you joining our band? So that was a whole other. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're playing on. We're not going to have that probably anytime soon.
That's really
cool. So we kind of just, you know, right place at the right time. He just wanted to make a change band-wise, and we were the right fit for him at the time. So I've been really happy playing music with him for the last 5 years or so.
What's your favorite song to perform?
I still love performing Keith's Sister from the first record. That one has consistently gone over well, and playing it for so long that it's, you know, it's funny. It's like I hate it, but I also love it.
Yeah.
As far as the new material, I love Black Divide. It's super fun to play live. Just fast ripping. It's got a lot of different parts to it, so there's some dynamics within the song itself that we haven't got to do in a little while. So that one's super fun to play live. And also, Save Your Breath is a fun one to play live too.
I know.
It's the only one I play a guitar solo on the record, so.
It has a special place in your heart then.
Yeah, totally. He was always like, you need to play more solos. And I was like, dude, seriously?
This place.
It's like the difference between him and I playing solos. I don't know if you've ever heard the early like Alcatraz records, where you've got like, well, maybe it's not Alcatraz, I can't remember. There was a band that Yngwie was in, and it's like him and then some like clearly like mediocre blues pentatonic scale player guitar. It's like the Yngwie will play a lead and the guy will play a lead, and super clear who's who. That's what it's like in this band. It's like people don't want to hear me play lead guitar, dude. Not by comparison, anyway.
Just let me play like the first 10 notes, and then you can take over, do the rest.
That's pretty much how it goes. Like I told him, I was like, I'll do one half of one solo on every record, but that's all you're gonna get out of me.
That's funny. How do people people want to find your stuff, how do they find you? You got a website, Facebook, Bandcamp, MySpace? No.
Yeah, dude, I loved MySpace. MySpace was the best for bands. Like, we did so much amazing networking with bands on MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace was fun. Which
Yeah.
I'm on your website right now, spacevacationrocks.com. What else do you got?
Yeah,
Our
our Facebook page, which is /Space Vacation. That's probably the easiest way to check us out, those two spots. We've got a Reverb Nation page, but that's kind of whatever.
Yeah, not a fan of
that.
Reverb Nation.
Yeah, it's good for kind of like keeping stuff up on the web and spamming your music to various sites. We still use it as a consolidator for our first record because that was one didn't get picked up by the label. So we still get our own royalties from that.
What's the strangest concert you performed at, or what's the strangest, like, any crazy fans out there?
There's a bunch. We played a show up in Tahoe, and towards the end of the show, as we were packing up, this woman just decided to get naked and start dancing around in the middle of the floor as we're loading out gear. I was like, okay, that's a new one. I always love playing in New York because the bars don't close there. So after the show, you're just sitting at the bar, and then all of a sudden the sun's up.
Oh, really?
So that's always super fun too. Of course, you feel terrible the next day, and the rest of the tour is a wash. But that show goes amazing. I'm trying to think of something super crazy. I think that's probably the craziest one that I can talk about on the air.
What are your plans for the future? Are you going to be starting recording? I know when did this latest album come out? And you have plans? You're working on new stuff, or?
It officially drops September 22nd, which we're super hyped about. So really right now we're working on trying to plan a touring schedule around the release. The label kind of dropped the ball and didn't tell us when the release was. And so we're kind of trying to work through, okay, where's our release show going to be? How are we going to support this record after it comes out? So we're looking at doing some West Coast tours, and then getting Germany lined up potentially for the fall before it gets too cold out there.
Yeah,
that would maybe Germany, Scandinavia area, and play a group of shows out there to help, push the product.
That would be really cool to play, just to see how things are over there, how the scene, how the people, how the crowds are over there. It'll be really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. We've had a lot of friends who have toured throughout Europe and have really enjoyed their time there. They treat the bands a lot better than they do here, more or less. You show up to the venue, they feed you, they generally give you a place to stay. They keep your gear safe. All the things that they don't do for you here.
Yeah.
Here you're lucky you can walk away with $50.
There's a corner, throw all your crap there and just buy some beers from us.
Yeah, no kidding. No shit.
That's pretty much about it, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of good places to go to. Like we played in Portland and they fed us, which was amazing. So rare these days.
Yeah.
Same thing as if you play at Slim's in San Francisco, they're really good to you as well. It's probably definitely one of my top 5 venues to play.
That's nice. Anything else you want to cover and you want to mention you have going on? And I know you have your gig tonight.
We've got a show tonight, and then we're working on tour schedule. So anyone that wants to play some shows with us, if you're on the West Coast or East Coast or in Europe, please feel free to hit me up through the Facebook page, and we'll coordinate something.
Who does all the? Do you have somebody that helps find shows, or all just you guys?
We thought we did. We thought we had a guy that was going to do some management for us and booking, but it's not turning out. That was like 3 months ago. We're still waiting for the first gig. So
that would be a tough gig to do. Well, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to do it. Or...
It depends. It depends. Whatever. No problem. We'll just keep on keeping on and hopefully get some decent acts. I mean, I think that what I really want to do with this band is open for some larger acts. I think the most fun shows we played is opening for Orchid and Satan and Thor. Those shows were amazing and a lot of fun. And frankly, a lot less work for us because all we have to do is show up and just be awesome and get the crowd rolling.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty good at that.
It'd be good if you can catch on one of those tours and not just be the local supporting act in San Francisco and when they roll through?
Yeah, we were close to getting the leg with Diamond Head, but it ended up falling through.
Ah,
That would have been amazing.
yeah, that would be a blast. So yeah, I've heard the album. I've listened to it a couple times all the way through, and I'll have to check out the older albums as well. I'm curious now. I want to hear them as well.
Sweet. Well, they're all up on our website, so you can stream all of them, and they're all on whatever media source you stream your music from these days. Everything's all available.
All right. Any last words you want to put in?
No, just keep it true, man. Heavy metal community. Keep it together.
Cool. All right.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for taking the time out for this.
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Great chatting with you.